Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to my mastery tutor. Now I decided to do from Form 1 to Form 4 topics. That's something that I've started myself. I thought why not to do these topics because you just left with only 2 years, just this year and next year. And one of the main reasons that I've thought let's do these topics is because of those public schools that are in there. So especially the ones that I'm staying. I want us this time to aim higher. So let's aim high. Evaluate minus 8 divided by 2 plus 12 times 9 minus 4 times 6 divided by 56 divided by 7 times 2. So yeah, this is very easy. Now how do you do this? So basically you do minus 8 divided by 2 plus 12 times 9. Let's start with the numerator, minus 4 times 6. Okay, so I'm starting with the numerator. So BODMAS. I'm going to start with BODMAS. Now BODMAS is brackets of division, multiplication, addition. So there's no brackets, obviously. There's no of. The only thing is division. So let's start with division. Let's start with minus 8 divided by 2. Minus 8 divided by 2 will give you minus 4 plus 12 times 9 minus 4 times 6. And then we go to multiplication, which is 2. So we have 12 plus 12 times 9, also minus 4 times 6. So we get minus 4. 12 times 9 is 108 plus 108. Okay, minus 4 times 6, which is minus 24. So yeah, so minus 4 plus 108 minus 24. Minus 4 plus 108 minus 24 gives you 80. So numerator is 80. Denominator. So denominator is going to be 56 divided by 7 times 2. Just likewise, we're going to start with division. So we have 56 divided by 7, which gives us 8 times 2, which would give us 16. So then numerator divided by the denominator, whatever you got at the numerator, which is 80, okay, divided by 16. So you know that 8 goes into 80 10 times, 8 goes into 16 2 times, 10 divided by 2 at the end, it's going to give you 5 as your final answer. Now this is question 2. So evaluate 28 minus negative 18 divided by negative 2 minus 15 minus negative 2 times negative 6 over 3. So let's start with this first fraction here. So since we have brackets, so it's going to be 28 minus negative 18 over negative 2 minus, then there's another fraction, 15 minus negative 2 times negative 6 over 3. And just likewise, you use BODMAS still. So brackets, there's a lot of brackets here. So minus 18, okay, will become plus. So let me just do this. Minus becomes plus 18. Now, so 28 plus 18 will give you 46. Okay, 46 divided by negative 2 minus 15 minus, so there's also another bracket here, minus 2 times minus 6. So it's going to give you minus 2 times minus 6 will give you plus 12. But remember there's minus before that, so minus plus 12 will still be minus 12 over 3. Okay, now 46 divided by negative 2 will give you negative 23, and 15 minus 12 will give you 3 divided by 3. So 3 divided by 3 will give you 1, and minus 23 minus 1 would give you minus 24, and that is your answer. Let's go to okay, the next question is this one. Evaluate minus 12 divided by minus 3 times 4 minus negative 20 over minus 6 times 6 divided by 3 plus negative 6. Let's start with the numerator, then we'll go to the denominator. So minus 12 divided by minus 3 times 4 minus negative 20, and just likewise you're going to use BODMAS the same. Now we've said you start with a bracket, that is negative becomes plus 20. Negative times negative gives you positive. And since we have minus 12 divided by minus 3, since we finished with brackets, we can go to the of. There's no of, then we go to division. So minus 12 divided by minus 3 will give you plus 4. Then times 4 plus 20. Then we go to multiplication. 4 times 4 will give you 16 plus 20, which will eventually give you 36. Tamam. And then we have denominator. The denominator is now this one here. So we'll start with the bracket. Okay, we start with the bracket, which is plus negative 6. If you open that one up, it's going to give you minus 6 plus, and minus becomes negative or minus. So minus 6 times 6 divided by 3 minus 6. So we've removed the plus behind there. Okay, then we go to division, BODMAS. So division. So we're going to divide. So it's going to be 6 divided by 3, which is 3. So minus 6 times 3 minus 6. So minus 6 times 3 minus 18 minus 6 minus 24. That is the answer. So we then do numerator divided by denominator. So we take 36 divided by negative 24. So this is the numerator, this is the denominator. That's 6 divided by negative 24, which will give you I think negative 1.5. But you can divide it by, okay, but just if you divide it, it's going to give you how much should I divide it with? So it's just going to give you negative 1.5, or let's say negative 1.5. Now this is another question. Now obviously BODMAS the same thing, right? Now the other question, all prime numbers less than 10 are arranged in descending order to form a number. Write down the number formed. Question B, state the total value of the second digit in the number formed in A above. So prime numbers that are less than 10 include, if I'm not wrong, 1 is not a prime number, by the way, because it just has one factor. So we have 2, but they are arranged in descending order. So let's just start. We have 2, we have 3. 3 is a prime number. 5 is a prime number. 7, we start with 7. Question A, 5 is a prime number, 7 is also prime number, 9 is not a prime number because it has many factors. So we have this descending order. That means from largest to smallest. So I start with 7, followed by 5, then followed by 3 and 2, and these are your answers. So for question B, state the total value of the second digit formed in A above. So if you look at 7532, the second digit is 5, and therefore the total value for that second digit is going to be 500, because 5 is at the hundreds place value. So 5 times 100 is going to give you 500. Question 5. Without using a calculator, evaluate minus 8 plus minus 5 times minus 8 minus negative 6 over minus 3 plus negative 8 divided by 2 times 4. So which is very easy. Now let's start with the numerator just like normal. So we start with the brackets. So this is minus, so you'll have plus 6. Okay, so it's going to be minus 8, and there's also plus and minus, which is eventually is going to become minus 5 as well, times minus 8, and then this one becomes plus 6. Then let's go to multiplication because there's no division here. So minus 5 times minus 8 will give you plus 40 plus 6. Then addition, obviously, minus 8 plus 40 is 32. 32 plus 6 is 38. So that is your numerator. For the denominator, also very easy. We have minus 3 plus and minus becomes obviously minus 8 divided by 2 times 4. Then we'll continue doing the division one. So minus 3 minus 8 divided by 2 becomes minus 4 times 4. And obviously this will become we'll go to the multiplication side. Minus 4 times 4 will become minus 3 minus 16, which is minus 19. So numerator divided by denominator, which is your numerator is 38 divided by denominator, which is minus 19, which will give you minus 2. That is your answer. Okay, in a certain commercial bank, customers may withdraw cash through one of the two tellers at the counter. On average, one teller takes 3 minutes, while the other teller takes 5 minutes to serve a customer. If the two tellers start to serve the customers at the same time, find the shortest time it takes to serve 200 customers. Now, obviously, this is a very easy question. Whenever a question like a teller comes or ringing bells, is normally LCM. So don't think too much. Okay, so the LCM of 3 and 5 minutes, which obviously is going to be how much? So divide by 3 is 3, is 1. Divide by 3 is not possible. Then you need to divide by 5, and then obviously I'm going to get 1 and 1. So 3 times 5 is going to give you 15 minutes. So if one customer normally takes 15, well, then what about 200 customers? So basically this is very easy. So you just take 200. By the way, okay, sorry for that, I think I've done a mistake somewhere. But now one teller takes 3 minutes, right? So if one teller, let's say teller A takes 3 minutes, basically it's going to take 1/3 per minute. Okay, so that's its rate. Teller B takes 5 minutes, so and therefore is going to take 1/5 per minute. So let's see the rate for A and B, which is going to be 1/3 plus 1/5, and 1/3 plus 1/5 will give you, I think, 8/15. Okay, this is because the LCM, but basically the simple way is just multiply by 5, 1 times 3, 5 times 3, you're going to get 5/15, 3/15, which is basically 8/15. That's the first thing. Now the second thing, once you get that one, obviously we know that 8/15 normally takes 1 minute. So how about the 15/15 in total? How many minutes is it going to take? 15/15 times 1 times the reciprocal of 8/15, which is 15/8. So this and this cancel out, 15/8. So 15 time over 8, sorry, which is going to give you 17/8. So for one customer, it normally takes 17/8 minutes, that is per customer. So if we were to search for 200 customers, then normally it will take 17/8, which is written as 15/8 times the 200 customers, to see how much or how many minutes or the shortest time that usually it takes to serve those 200 customers. So times 200 is, then you're going to get 375 minutes. 375 minutes, which if you change it into hours is around 6 hours and 15 minutes, or 6.25 hours. So it's very simple. Okay, without using a calculator, evaluate -2 into bracket 5 plus 3 minus 9 divided by 3 plus 5 over -3 times -5 plus -2 times 4. Now let's start using BODMAS. So obviously brackets. So minus 2 into bracket 5 plus 3 minus 9 divided by 3 plus 5. So let's start with the numerator just likewise. Okay, so minus 2 brackets 5 plus 3 gives you 8 minus 9 divided by 3 plus 5. Did we open up? Not yet. Minus 2 times 8 is minus 16 minus 9 divided by 3 plus 5. Next step, division. Minus 9 divided by 3 is going to be minus 16 minus 3 plus 5. So minus 16 minus 3 is minus 19 plus 5, which will give you 19 minus 5 minus 14. Tamam. Now let's go to the denominator. Denominator will be minus 3 times minus 5 plus minus 2 times 4. Okay, let's just go a little bit. So there's no division and there's no brackets or off. We'll just go to the multiplication part. So minus 3 times minus 5 will give you plus 15, and minus 2 times 5 will give you minus 8. So we have plus minus 8, which eventually becomes 15 minus 8, which is 7. So denominator, sorry, not denominator, but numerator divide by denominator. So your numerator is minus 14 divided by denominator, which is 7, minus 14 divided by 7 will give you minus 2. A fruit vendor bought 1948 oranges on a Thursday and sold 750 of them on the same day. On Friday, he sold 240 more oranges than on Thursday. On Saturday, he bought 560 more oranges. Later that day, he sold all the oranges he had at a price of 8 shillings each. Calculate the amount of money the vendor obtained from the sales of Saturday. So now let's go step by step. Now on Thursday, okay, you bought 1948 or 1948 oranges, okay, and sold 750 of them. So if you minus it from with that, so 1948 minus 750 is going to give you 1198. So 1198 oranges. So that is he had them on Friday. Okay, now I've been told he sold 240 more oranges than on Thursday. So when on Thursday he sold 750, but on Friday he sold 240. This is where it confused most of the students. So if you take 750 plus 240, it's going to give you 990. So he sold 990. Let's see how much he's going to remain with. So minus 990 is going to remain with 208. So that is how much he had. Okay, how much he remained with. So on Saturday he's going to have 208 oranges, but now again on Saturday he bought 560 more oranges. So he bought 560 more oranges. Okay, he bought 560 more oranges. Then we need to add 560 there. So 208 plus 560 is going to give us 768 oranges. But remember, you've been told here, let me just remove this. You've been told here to calculate the amount of money the vendor obtained from the sales of Saturday. Now, Saturday, he sold all the oranges at 8 shillings. So he remained with 768 and he sold them at 8 shillings each. So how much are we going to take after taking 768 times 8? So it's going to give us 6,144 Kenya shillings. A square room is covered by a number of whole rectangular sides, rectangular slabs of side 60 centimeter by 42 centimeter. So we have 60 by 42 centimeter. Calculate the least possible area of the room. Now, whenever you get a question like this, obviously it's going to be LCM. So 60, LCM of 60 and 42, because we'll have two, small squares here. So divide by 2 is going to give us, is it a rectangular square room is covered. Oh, I'm forgetting myself. Right, let's continue. I think so let me do this. LCM 60 and 42 divided by 2 is going to give us 30. This one is going to give us 21 divided by 2 is going to give us 15. Then this one is 21 still. Divide by 3 now is going to give us 5. And then this one gives us 7 divided by 5, 1, 7. Then divide by 7. Lastly, it should give you 1 and 1. So 2 times, so the LCM is going to be 2 times 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. Let me just write it here. So it's going to be 2 squared times 3 times 5 times 7. Let's see how much is it going to give us. So 2 squared times 3 times 5 times 7, 420 centimeter. So 420 centimeter, let's change it into meters. Divide it by 100, so it's going to be 4.2 meters. And so we have a square whose sides are 4.2 by 4.2. So if you want to get the area, side times side, so 4.2 times 4.2 is going to give us 0.2 squared is going to give us 17.64 meters square. Let me just write it here. Let me write it here, 17.64 square meters. Okay, the other question is express 10,500 in terms of its prime factors. So, which is very easy. Let's just draw a factor tree this way. So 10,500, by the way, the easiest way of just doing these things, you just draw 105 times 100 rather than doing divide by 2, divide by 2. Then 100, you can divide it by 2, or yeah, so to give you 50 and 2. So divide by 2, 25 and 2, then 5 and 5. So 105 obviously cannot divide it by 2, so 105 can be divided by 3 to give you 35 and 3. Divide by 5, which is to give you 5 and 7. So your prime factors are going to be this, and this. So I write it down here. So 2 times 2, which is 2 squared, followed by times 3, followed by times 5 cubed, times 7. And that is the answer to question A. Question B, you've been told determine the smallest positive number P such that 10,500 P is a perfect cube. Be a 10,500 P. If you take 10,500 P, it's going to give you an answer which you can find the cube roots from it. So yeah, so for you to know that, you need to know the value of P itself. So that is the question itself. So if you look at 2 squared, okay, if you look at 2 squared, how much do you need to give you 2 cubed? So you just need 2, right? For 3, utahitaji only 3 squared. For this one, you just need only 2 for it to be 2 cubed. This one, obviously, you say 3 squared. For this one, it's just 5 power 0, which is just 1, which you don't need because it's already cubed. For 7, because it's 7 power 1, so you need 7 power 2. So you add 7 power 2 to it. So the answer for P is going to be 2 times 3 squared times 7 squared. Times 7 squared, which is 882. So as simple as that. Okay, 3 bells ring at intervals 9, 15 minutes and 21 minutes. The bells will next ring together at 11 p.m. Find the time the bells had last rang together. So LCM of 9, 15 and 21 kama kawaida. Okay, so let's find the LCM of all of these 3 numbers. So we can't divide by 2, obviously. That's something that you know. So divide by 3, this is 3, this is 5, this is 7. Divide by 3 again, 1, 5, and 7. Divide by 5, 1, 1, 7. Divide by 7 is 1, 1, 1. So LCM is going to be 3 squared times 5 times 7. So 3 squared is going to give us how much? 3 squared times 5 times 7 is 315. 315 minutes. So if you divide it by 60, how many hours will it give us? So divide by 60 is going to give us 5 hours and 15 minutes, or 5.25 hours. 0.25 is just a quarter of an hour. So it's going to give us 5 hours, 15 minutes. So that is the answer. That is not the answer. So the bells will next ring together at 11 p.m. Find the time the bells had last rang together. That is the time before this. So you're going to take 11:00 p.m. minus 5 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, so let's see how much it gives us. So you can use your calculator, by the way, or let's borrow one from 11. So 16 minus 15 is 45, and 10 minus 5 is 5. So 5:45 p.m. is your answer. Evaluate 22 minus negative 14 divided by 6 times negative 2 minus 4 squared times minus 6 minus 12 over 72 divided by minus 8 times 3. Now minus negative 14 minus negative 14 is going to become minus negative is going to become plus 14 over 6 times negative 2 minus then 4 squared times just likewise times minus 6 minus 12 divided by 72 divided by negative 8 times 3. So let's deal with this one. 22 plus 14 is going to give us 36 over 6 times negative 2 is negative 12 minus 4 squared times negative 6. 4 squared first is 16, then followed by times negative 6 minus 12. But you can also do the denominator 72 divided by negative 8 because of BODMAS division, and you'll get negative 9 times 3. Okay, so yeah, the next step. So 36 divided by negative 12 is negative 3. 16 times negative 6. 16 times negative 6 is negative 96. So you do minus, this one is negative 96 minus 12 divided by minus 9 times 3 will give you minus 27. Minus 96 minus 12 will give you minus 108. Minus 108 divided by minus 27, which is 4. Okay, so the answer to that, minus 3 minus this one would give you 4, minus 3 minus 4 would give you minus 7, and that is your answer. A number m is formed by writing all the prime numbers between 0 and 10 in an ascending order. Another number n is formed by writing all the square numbers between 0 and 10 in a descending order. Find m minus n. Express m minus n as a product of its prime factors. Now, m, by writing all the prime numbers between 0 and 10. So 0 and 10 in an ascending order, that is from the smallest to the largest, which is very simple. 2, 3, 5, and 7. So that is the number. 2, 3, 5, and 7 are prime numbers. A number n is formed by writing all square numbers between 0 and 10. So all square numbers, remember, square numbers are like 1 times 1, 1, 4, we have 9. These are square numbers. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 5 is 25. But the numbers that are usually between 0 and 10 is 1, 4, and 9, but in descending order, that is starting from the largest to the smallest. 9, 4, 1. Find m minus n. So we're going to take 2, 3, 5, 7 minus 941. Let's see how much it gives us. 2357 941 is going to give us 1416. So that is question A. For question B, express m minus n as a product of its prime factors. So yeah, express this one 1416 as a product of its prime factors. 1416 divided into two ways, which is also very easy. So can we divide it? It's very difficult, but let's just use it the long way. So divide by 2, you're going to get 708. Again, divide by 2, which we're going to take long process, but as long as we get the answer. So 354. Then divide by 2, 177. Okay. Now you ask yourself, can 177 divide by 3? Yes. You can't divide it by 2. So 177 divided by 3 gives you 59. And then 59 is a prime number. You can't divide it further. Or whatever you do, you can't divide it further. So your final answer is going to be 2 cubed, because there's 2 cubed here. 2 cubed times 3 times 59. That is the answer. Ntutu had cows, sheep, and goats in his farm. The number of cows was 32, and number of sheep was 12 times the number of cows. The number of goats was 1,344, more than the number of sheep. If he sold 3/4 of the goats, find the number of goats that remained. Very simple question. Swali rahisi sana. Sasa the number of goats was 32. Cows was 32. Number of sheep wetu was 12 times the number of cows. So it was 12 times 32. 12 times 32. So 12 times 32, 32 times 12 will be 384. So the number of sheep was 384. The number of goats was 1,344, more than the number of sheep. So you take 384 plus 1,344. So if you take that plus 1,344, you'll get to 1,728. So you talk about 1,728. Now, if you sold 3/4 of the goats, you sold 3/4 of the goats. That is 3/4 of 1728. Let's see how much is going to give us. 3/4 of 1728 is 1296. Find the number of goats that remained. So the number of goats that remained will be of 1728 minus the ones that he sold. Okay, 1728 minus 1296. Okay, that gives you 432. So find the number of goats that remained. It remained 432 goats. That is the answer. Evaluate 540,396 minus 726,440 divided by 3. Remember, you'll use BODMAS. This is where most of the students go wrong. Okay, right. Then question B, write the total value of the digits in the thousand place of the results obtained in A above. Very simple question. Now first, we start with division. So twafaa tuseme minus 726,450 divide by 3. That's the first thing. Then we'll subtract it from 540,396. So if you divide that, okay, if you divide that, minus 726,450 divided by 3 is going to give us minus 242,000. So you'll have 540,396 minus, after division, is going to give you minus 242,150. 242,150. Now let's do this. This is question A. So 540,396 minus 242,150. Let's subtract it. Gives you 6. This gives you 4. 2. This is 10 minus 2, which is 8. 3. And then you borrow 1 from 5. Gives you 9. 4 minus 2 is this. So this is your answer. Now, question B, write the total value of the digits in the thousands place of the results obtained in A above, which is this one. So 298,246. So you look at the value of the digit in the thousands place. So let's see here. Okay, the thousands place. So the thousand, this is ones, this is tens, this is hundreds, this is thousands. So the total value is going to be 8 times 1,000, which is 8 thousands. So 8,000 is your answer. Given that A is equal to 3, B is equal to 5, and C is equal to negative a half, evaluate for A squared plus 2B minus 4C, a quarter over a quarter into bracket B squared minus 3A. So very simple. So A is equal to 3, B is equal to 5, C is equal to negative a half. So you're going to do 4 times A squared, 4 times 3 squared, plus 2 times 5, minus 4 times negative a half. So I'm just replacing those A's with the actual A's, B's with the actual B's, C's with the actual C's. So this is A, this is B, this is C. Divide by, okay, a quarter into bracket B squared minus 3A. So B squared is 5 squared minus 3 times A, which is 3. Now let's look into it. Now 3 squared is basically 9. So 4 times 9 plus 2 times 5 is 10. Minus 4 times negative a half is going to give you plus 2. Because negative times negative is going to give you positive over. But also 4 times 9 is going to give you at the end of the day 36. What about the denominator? A quarter times 5 squared is 25 minus 3 times 3 is minus 9. So again, let's continue. 36 plus 10 plus 2, 46 plus 2 gives you 48. Okay, 25 minus 9 will give you 16. So a quarter of 16. So you get 48 divided by your robo ya 16 ni a quarter times 16. 48 robo ya 16 ni 4. So 48 divided by 4 will eventually give you 12. That is the answer. Now, without using a calculator, evaluate this thing. Minus 2 into bracket 5 plus 3 minus 9 divided by 3 plus 5 over minus 3 times negative 5 plus negative 2 times 4. So again, you'll use BODMAS for this question. Now, just likewise, let's start with the numerator, then we'll go to the denominator. For the numerator, obviously, we start with the bracket. So minus 2, let's start with 5 add 3 is going to give us 8. So minus 9 divided by 3 plus 5. So we finished with the brackets. We don't have off, so we go to division. So but we haven't opened yet the brackets. Minus 2 times A will give you minus 16. Now we've opened. Minus 9 divided by 3 plus 5 is followed by division. So minus 9 divided by 3 will give you minus 16 minus 3 plus 5. Minus 9 divided by 3 is minus 3. Then followed by, obviously there's no multiplication, it's just addition and subtraction. So minus 16 minus 3 minus 19. By the way, when you read this stage, you can start with any, there's no problem. Minus 19 plus 5 will give you minus 14. So that's the numerator. What about the denominator? The denominator will be this. So minus 3 times minus 5 plus minus 2 times 4. Obviously, you'll just start with the multiplication because there's no division or off or bracket. So this multiplication, this is multiplication. Minus 3 times minus 5 is positive 16. Minus 2 times 4 is minus 8. 15 plus minus 8 is 15 minus 8. Positive and negative becomes negative. 15 minus 8 is 7. Now, finally, numerator divided by denominator. So negative 14 divided by 7 will give you negative 2 as our final answer. The lengths of 3 wires were 30 meters, 36 meters, and 84 meters. Pieces of wire of equal length were cut from 3 wires. Calculate the least number of pieces obtained. Tamam. Calculate the least number of pieces obtained. Now for this question, we'll do GCD. So we'll do the GCD of 30, 36, and 84. There are numerous ways of doing GCD, but I prefer this one. I'll teach you also the other way. Now, divide by 2 gives you 15, divide by 2 gives you 18, divide by 2 gives you 42. Then again, divide by 2 gives you 9, divide by 2 gives you 21, gives you 15. Then divide by 3 gives you 3 here, 7 and 5. Then divide by 3 gives you 1, 5 and 7. Divide by 5 gives you 1, 1 and 7. Then divide by 7, 1, 1, 1. So your LCM is going to be 2 squared times 3 squared. Sorry, your GCD is going to be 2 squared times 3 squared times 5 times 7. And let's see how much is that. Sorry, I was doing GCD. I was doing LCM. I'm supposed to do GCD instead of LCM. So that's very, very wrong of me. Sorry for that. Okay, I was supposed to do GCD. So the GCD of 30, 36, and 84. So now let's divide by 2, gives you 15. This gives you 18, 42. Now you need to think of a number that you can divide onto 15, 18, and 42. That is 3. So this gives you 5. This gives you 6. This gives you 1. It's going to give you 14. And I think that's the stop of that thing. So the GCD is going to be 2 times 3, which is 6. Okay, now the question is asking you to calculate the least number of pieces obtained. So this is just 6 meters. Okay, like you're taking 30 meters, dividing into 6 meters, 6 meters. So let's start with the 30 meters. If you take 30 divided by 6, you're going to get 5 pieces. If you take 36 divided by 6, you're going to get 6 pieces. If you're going to take 84 divided by 6 also, you're going to take that is 14. Okay, you're going to take 14 pieces. Now let's add all of this 3, 5 plus 6, okay, plus 14, which will give you 11 plus 14, 25 pieces, and that is your accurate answer. Now express 17, 28, and 2025 in terms of their prime factors, hence evaluate the cube root of 17, 28 over the square root of 20, 25. Now let's look at the prime factors of 17, 28. All right, 17, 28. I divide by 24, it becomes easy. Now 17, 28, if I divide by 24, obviously it's going to give you 24 and 72. I'm using the simple way, but you can use the longest way if you want to. And then after doing that, obviously you can divide 72 by 2 to give you 2 and 36. 24 also gives you 12 and 2. So 12 obviously is going to give you 6 and 2. Then you'll find 3 and 2. That's 6, the same thing. 18, 2, 9 and 2, and then 3 and 3, obviously. So that is 1728. So 1728 is you'll take the prime numbers, this. All of these are prime numbers. So don't take anything that is not a prime number. So this is 2. How many 2's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 power 6 times 3 power 3. Okay, 3 power 3, not 3 squared. So 3 power 3. Now when you're searching for the cube root of this ones, 2 power 6 and 3 cubed, you'll have the power 6 of the 2. So 6 divided by 3 is going to give you 2 power 2. And you'll have the 3, not half it, sorry. 6 divided by 3, you're supposed to take 6 divided by 3 to give you 2, and take 3 divided by 3 as well to give you 1, because this one is much likely the same as you're doing this way, power a third. So if it's power a third, 6 times a third obviously is going to give you 2, and 3 times a third is going to give you 1. So 2 squared times 3 is 4 times 3, which is 12. But if you want, you can confirm your answer. Let's say confirm 1728. Yeah, it's going to give us 12. Now for the other one, the 2025. Can we divide it by 25? So let's just divide it by 25 so that it becomes easy. 25 and 81. So obviously 25 would be 5 and 5. This one divided by 3 is going to give us 27 and 3. Okay. Then 9 and 3 divided by 3 again, then 3 and 3. So you just take the prime numbers. So we'll start with the 3. So we'll have 3 power 4 times 5 squared. Now when you're searching for the square root, this is square root. This means 3 power 4 times 5 squared power a half. So you'll have the powers. So for the 3, half here 4 ni 3 power 2, half here 2 ni 5 power 1. So 3 squared is 9 times 5. 9 times 5 will give you 45. So the answer you got at the numerator, you divide it by the denominator. So utachukua 12 divide by 45, and let's see how much it gives us. 12 over 45 is around 4 over 15. So that is the answer. A retailer bought a bag of tea leaves. If the retailer, just a bit. Okay, a retailer bought a bag of tea leaves. If the retailer were to repack the tea leaves into smaller packets of either 40 gram to 50 gram or 350 gram, determine the least mass in grams of the tea leaves in the bag. Okay, let's try another way, because I told you there's also another way of doing LCM. This is a question on LCM. So the other way is maybe to write those prime factors. So especially 40 can be written as 4 and 10. Then divide by 2 and you get 2 and 5. And divide by 2 you get 2 and 2. So basically we know that 40 is going to be written as 2 cubed times 5. So we'll take this ones here. How about then 250? 250, the same thing. You can write it as 25 and 10. This one gives you 5 and 5. This one gives you 2 and 5. So again, 250 can be written as 2 times 5 cubed. 2 and the 5 cubed here. The other one is 350. Obviously 350, the same thing. 35 and 10. You get 5 and 7 here. Okay, or let's write it here. 5 and 7. 5 and 7. And 2 and 5. So 350 will be written as 2 times 5 squared times 7. Now when we're searching for the LCM with respect to this ones, the prime factors, is basically easy. So between we have the groups of 2. So if you have the groups of 2, that means that the LCM, whenever you divide it in groups, there's 3 groups. The group of 2, there's group of 5 and 7. The group of 2 usually takes the number with the highest power, in which 2 cubed is higher than the 2 power 1. So it writes 2 cubed. For the group of 5s, the highest power is 5 cubed. And we ignore the 5 squared and the 5, and we'll just take 5 cubed. And since 7 is the only one, you don't have 7 and 250 or 40, just write that 7 that's there. If it's GCD, you normally ignore the 7, but now since it's LCM, we don't ignore it. So 2 cubed times 5 cubed times 7 is going to give you 7,000 grams. So that is our answer. Remember, our answer should be in terms of grams. Don't convert it into kg, otherwise is very wrong. Okay, without using mathematical tables or calculator, evaluate -3 into brackets 6 plus -2, close the bracket, minus -12, divide by 4 plus 5 over -4 times -6 plus -3 times 5. So basically the questions are just repeating themselves, but that is why you need to do a lot of past papers. So the numerator, which is that one that you see there, so let's start with the numerator, 6 plus -2 minus -12, then divide by 4 plus 5. Okay, after doing that, open the bracket because BODMAS starts with the bracket. So let's open up -3. 6 plus -2 is just 6 minus 2, and 6 minus 2 is 4. Okay, minus -12 divided by 4 plus 5. -3 times 4 will give you -12. That's how you open up the brackets. Since we have minus negative here, we'll write positive because negative gives you positive. So we'll have plus 12 divided by 4 plus 5. Next one is division. So you'll divide this. This is where many students usually get wrong. So they think -12 plus 12 cancel out and give you 0, which is not the case. So plus 12 divided by 4 will give you plus 3 plus 5. So -12 plus 3 gives you -9 plus 5, which will give you -4. That's the numerator. Let's go to the denominator. The denominator again is easy, -4 times -6 plus -3 times 5. Okay, so let's start with we don't have brackets or division. Start with multiplication. So -4 times -6 and -3 times 5. -4 times -6 will give you plus 24, and -3 times 5 will give you -15. Plus and minus becomes 24 minus 15. 24 minus 15 is 8. Yes, it's 8. It's 9, sorry. So it's 9. Okay, and therefore you'll take numerator divided by denominator. So you take -4 over 9. Okay, a rectangular floor of a room measures 5.4 meters long and 4.2 meters wide. So you have this one this way, 5.4 meters, and we have 4.2 meters. Okay, the room is to be covered with square tiles that looks like this. So calculate the minimum number of square tiles that can be used to cover the floor. Very simple. No, but before that, we need to find the LCM of 5.4 and 4.2. Now, how do you find the LCM of 5.4 and 4.2? That is correct. So we can do this 5.4 times 100 so that we can change it into centimeter. You get 540, and 4.2 times 100, which will give you 420 centimeter. So basically, this one is going to be 420 centimeter, and this one is going to be 540 centimeter. Okay, now this is not LCM. I think this is GCD. So we need to search for the GCD of 540 and 420. Again, there's another way. So you do it this way: 554 and 10, and then obviously this is 2 and 5. So this is 27 and 2. This will be 9 and 3 divided by 3 again, 3 and 3. So 540 is going to be written as, because we have only two 2's, we'll write it as 2 squared times 3 cubed because we have 3 3's, and then followed by 1 5. So how about 420 then? 420 do the same thing. 42 times 10. So this will give you 5 and 2. And this one will give you 6 and 7. Let me just write it here. This will give you 6 and 7. Okay, you can still branch it to give you 3 and 2. So these are your prime numbers. So you're going to write 420 is equal to 2 squared times 3 times 5 times 7. Tamam. Now, since we've reached here, GCD, we normally take the number with the smallest power. In which, if you look at this 2, obviously the smallest is just 2 squared still. If you look at this one and this one, the smallest is 3. If you look at this and this, obviously it's just 5. And since 7 doesn't appear at the top, we leave it alone. So the GCD is going to be 2 squared times 3 times 5, which is 4 times 3 times 5, which is 60 centimeter. Down. So after getting 60 centimeter, now it means that these are going to be 60 centimeter. The tiles are going to be 60 centimeter this way, lengthwise and widthwise. So for us to know the number of tiles, what do we normally do? Okay, let's find out how much is it going to be give us lengthwise. So you take 540, or you can search for the area, whichever way. We can search for the area. Say that area is equal to length times width, so 540 times 420. Okay, to see how much it's going to give us. 540 times 420 is going to give us 226,800. That's for the rectangle. For the square, is going to be 60 times 60, which will give us 3,600. Okay, and then divide these two. We take 226, so tiles, the number of tiles that we'll have, 226,800 divided by 3,600. So 226,800 divided by 3,600 is going to give us 63 tiles. So that is one way. The other way may be that you can use, because we have 540 here centimeter and you have 420 centimeter, and the square tile is 60 centimeter by 60 centimeter. You search for the lengthwise how many tiles there are. So you take 540 divided by 60. So 540 divided by 60 is going to give us 9. So you have 9 tiles lengthwise. Then widthwise, how many tiles do you have widthwise? You take 420 divided by 60, which will give you 7 tiles. And then finally, if you want to get the number of tiles in that whole rectangle, you take 9 times 7, which will give you 63 tiles. So it's just the same answer but different way. So yeah, 2 bells ring at intervals of 35 and 42 minutes. Okay, the bells ring together at 8:48 a.m. determine the time when the bells will ring together again. So just find for the LCM once again. So 35 and 42. So you divide by 2 gives you 21. 35 can divide by 2, therefore divide by 3 gives you 7 and 35. Then finally divide by 7 is going to give you, no, you divide by 5, sorry for that. You divide by 5 because of the 35. So divide by 5 is going to give you 5 and 7. Then divide by 5 again, it's going to give you 1 and 7. Then finally divide by 7 to give you 1 and 1. So 2 times 3 times 5 squared times 7 is your LCM. So how much is it? 2 times 3 times 5 squared times 7. It gives you 1,050 minutes. Okay, 1,050 minutes. If you want to convert it into hours, divide by 60. You divide it by 60, it is going to give you 17.5 hours. Okay, 17.5 hours. But why is it very much? Let me confirm. 2 times 3 times 5 squared times 7, so 1,050. Okay, It's too much, but still, what should we do? Now you get that. After getting that, obviously plus 17.5 hours. So what do you normally do? You take 8.48 a.m. plus 17 hours and 30 minutes. 30 minutes, a half an hour is 30 minutes. So it's going to give you, if you add that one to this, it's going to give you 25 hours. No, if you take 8:48, okay, plus 17, 30 minutes, use just your calculator, it's going to give you 26:18. Okay, so it's going to give you at least 26:18 the away, 26:18. So you subtract by 24 to give you 218 hours. Okay, so 2:02:18 hours is around 2:18 p.m. Am I correct? Sorry, I did a mistake again. Don't know why. Okay, 35 and 42. That's why I'm getting large numbers. So divide by 2, we're finding the LCM still. 35 and 21. Divide by 3, you're going to get 7 and 35. Divide by 5, you're going to get 7 and 7. And then divide by 7, you're going to get 1 and 1. So your LCM is going to be 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. So 2 times 3 times 5 is 30, times 7 is 210 minutes. So 210 minutes divided by 60 to be converted into hours. So 210 divided by 60, which should give us 3 hours and 30 minutes. So if the bell rang at 3 hours and 30 minutes, the bell rang at 8:45, you're just going to take 8:45 a.m. plus 3 hours 30 minutes. So how much is that? So 8:48 plus that one, it's going to give you 12:18 p.m. Okay, so that is your answer. Khalas. Let's go to the other question now. Kipkoech and Tanui began a 5,000-meter race together at the start line. Kipkoech, that is Kipkoech and Tanui. Kipkoech and Tanui took 72 seconds. Kipkoech took 72 seconds and Tanui took 80 seconds. Respectively to run a 400-meter lap. So the two athletes were together again at the starting line after some time, determining the number of laps that Tanui had to run to complete the race after they were together, which is very, very easy. Now let's search for the LCM of 72 and 80. So divide by 2, 36. This one gives you 40. Divide by 2 gives you 18. 20 divided by 2 gives you 9 and 10. Okay, still divide by 2. Okay, divide by 2 again. 5 and 9. Divide by 3 now. 3 and 5. Divide by 3 again. 1 and 5. Why is it much? Then divide by 5, which will eventually give you 1 and 1. Am I correct? Hopefully, yes. Now, after getting that, you obviously find the LCM, which is 2 power 4 times 3 squared times 5, to see how much is it going to give us. So 2 power 4 times 3 squared times 5 is going to give us 720 seconds. Okay, it's going to take 720 seconds. Now, you've been told Kipkoech began a 5,000-meter race, respectively to run a 400-meter lap. So let's see how many laps does he takes if it takes the 5,000 meter. So 5,000 meter divided by 400-meter lap. How many laps are those? So 5,000 divided by 400. Those are 12.5 laps. Okay, but now there's someone called Tanui. You've been asked to find the number of laps Tanui had to run to complete the race after they were together. So Tanui had there 80 seconds. Okay, Tanui had the 80 seconds. Usually took 80 seconds, but now since all of them usually take 720 seconds, so how many laps did he use? So 720 divided by 80 is going to give us 9. So those are 9 laps. Now for the remaining ones, it's going to be 12.5 minus 9, which is going to give us 3.5. Is it 3.5 or 2.5? It's 3.5 laps, and that is the answer to this question. Now, to using a calculator, evaluate minus 13 plus 5 minus 70 divided by 5 over 9 minus 14 times minus 3 divided by 21. So let's say numerator. So minus 13 plus 5 minus 70 divided by 5. So we start with this. Okay, so minus 13 plus 5. We start with the division one. So minus 70 divided by 5 is minus 14. So this becomes minus 14. Then minus 13 plus 5 is minus 8. Okay, minus 8 minus 14 is going to give us minus 23. Yes, minus 22, sorry. So that is the numerator. Now the denominator, obviously, we've said is 9 minus 14 times minus 3 divided by 21. We start with the division one. So again, minus 3 divided by 21, which is 9 minus 14 times minus 3 over 21, which you can simplify and it gives you minus 1 over 7. Then multiplication. So minus 14 that times minus 1 over 7, which will give you 9 minus 14 times minus 1 over 7 is plus 2. Okay, so 9 plus 2 is 11. So numerator divided by denominator, minus 22 divided by 11 will give you minus 2 as your final answer. 2 light bulbs are said to light every 40 seconds and 60 seconds respectively. If they light exactly at the same time initially, calculate the time in minutes they will take to light together again, the number of times they will light together in the first half an hour. Right. So obviously this is LCM once more. So 40 and 60. Okay. Divide by 2 is 20, 30. Divide by 2 is 10 and 15. Okay. Divide by 2 is 5 and 15. Divide by 3 is 5 and 5. Divide by 5 is 1 and 1. So you're going to get 2 cubed times 3 times 5. Okay, so 2 cubed times 3 times 5 is going to give us 120 seconds. So the time in minutes. So 120 seconds is how many minutes, by the way? So you just divide by 60 because 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Divide by 60, you get 2 minutes. That's your answer. That is question A. Then how about question B then? The number of times they will light together in the first half an hour. So half an hour is how many minutes? Half an hour is normally half of 60 minutes, which is 30 minutes. So how many times? So the number of times is going to be, because if one time will be 2 minutes, then how about 30 minutes? So you just take 30, divide by 2, and it's going to give you 15 times. So that is your answer. Let's go to the last question. Okay, a carpenter had two big pieces of wood of equal length. The carpenter cut the first piece into smaller pieces of length 15 centimeter each without a remainder. The carpenter cut the second piece into smaller pieces of length 24 centimeter each without a remainder. Determine the minimum length of each of the big pieces of wood. So obviously this is LCM. Once more, so you do LCM of 15. Let me use that long method. So 15 is going to be 5 and 3. 24 is going to be obviously 6 and 4. Then you can divide this into 2 and 3, and then you can divide this into 2 and 2. So 15 is 3 times 5. 24 is obviously this and this, so this is 2 cubed times 3. Now the LCM, starting with the 2, is going to be 2 cubed, followed by 3, then followed by 5. So 2 cubed times 3 times 5 is going to give us 120 centimeter. That is the answer. And don't forget to subscribe, by the way. And in case you have any questions or you want to join our online tuition programs, especially we still have the online tuition programs for Form 4 students. And this is why I said, why not create these videos for Form 4 students? Form 4 student candidates, we have online classes starting from Monday to Friday, 7:15 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Charges just 1,500 shillings. But again, don't forget to subscribe, share to your friends so that I can also get to be known, get money, although there's no money still. All in all, subscribe, share, like, and leave a comment in case there's anything bad I've said or you haven't understood.